one. We're making a peach bourbon, what did we decide? Peach bourbon Southern Lady Julep. We don't know the name, I'm so sorry. But it's gonna be great. Shocktails. I'm sure everybody's aware that CMA has closed for the time being, and we are just concerned for everyone's health and safety. So we were hoping to show some of you out there how to make what we all kind of need right now, which is a cocktail. We're going to be calling these shocktails because they are from Shocko. It's how quarantine has affected my food making. I think I'm reading a lot more about food. I'm no longer in my professional kitchen, so I'm kind of cooking like how other people cook, which is, I find a little bit difficult. Well, right now I've been researching new recipes and new menu ideas for Shocko's menu, because we're going to be flipping Shocko's menu as soon as we come back to the spring and summer menu. So I've been thinking a lot about that. I think that essentials for quarantine, because we're all cooking a little bit more now that we're all kind of stuck in the house. I think that alcohol, I like to have alcohol in my house because, my God. Sugar, I like to have sugar. I like to have flour. I like to have some kind of herb on hand, whether it be rosemary. We're going to be using mint today. Basil's always good to have. I like to have fruits. We're going to be using some fruit today. Oh, and eggs. I cannot stress that enough. Always have eggs in your house because there's so much you can do with eggs. Eggs is one of the most just versatile foods imaginable. I have been doing a lot of food prep for my girlfriend, and so I made her a blackened catfish with grilled peaches, and it was over top a baked sweet potato that I kind of mashed up, and I think it would go really well with this cocktail. A little plug for our shocktail. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making our shocktail. I'm going to kind of go over right now our mise en place. It means before you make anything, and this goes for if you're just making spaghetti and meatballs, or if you're making, a 7-course meal, you're going to kind of get everything situated. Mise en place, everything situated, okay? So I'm going to kind of go over a little bit what I got laid out here, and then we'll start cooking. First thing, we got our peaches. We've got a ginger beer. We've got our shaker, because our mise en place is also utensils. We've got our knife to be cutting up our peach. We've got 2 glasses. We've got some mint. I don't have a, what's it called? A muddler, so I'm going to use a wooden spoon because that's what I'm going to do. We have light brown sugar. That's going to be to make our simple syrup. We'll get into simple syrup in a second. And we have our bourbon. And this is kind of like whatever kind of bourbon you like to drink, that's what you're going to get. We have a whiskey bourbon, which is going to be a little bit sweeter than a rye bourbon. So that's all of our kind of ingredients. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a simple syrup. Simple syrup's super easy. You can have it in your fridge, bring it out for all kinds of different things. It's good for drinks. It's good for kind of baking. It's good for all kinds of stuff. And it's a really easy recipe. You ready for this? It is a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and water. Everybody can remember that, right? I don't normally measure things, but we happen to have a measuring cup here. So I would measure a 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of water, and then we're going to bring that to the boil. As soon as you see it boil, you're going to shut off the heat. Now, a little trick. At that point, I would refrigerate it, okay? That's your 1-to-1 ratio. That's your simple syrup, but you need it to be cool before you add it to the drink. So I'm going to teach you a little trick here. Only the professionals know. So I'm going to put a little bit less water in the simple syrup, and then I'm going to pour it over ice. So when it's hot, it's going to melt that ice. It's still going to be your 1-to-1 ratio, and it's going to be immediately cooled because you poured it over ice. Now it is time to muddle. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stick my mint in there. Doesn't matter how much, depends on how minty you want your drink. Then I'm going to put, let's say, without spilling, that's the hard part, let's say 2 ounces of simple syrup. Oh my God, and I did it. Boom. Okay, and then I'm going to do, let's do 2 ounces of bourbon whiskey. Good Lord, it's hard to pour. You can smell it too. Yes. All right, pour that in there. Very good. And then I'm gonna cut up maybe a quarter of this peach and put it in there. And I'm gonna stick my muddler. You know, you don't need a real muddler. I'm gonna stick it in there and kind of muddle it. Now, the thing about this is you don't wanna over muddle. If you over muddle it, the mint is gonna get a little bit bitter. So you're just gonna muddle it a little bit, let those flavors kind of play together. Now it's time for the fun part. You do a little shaky. Do a little shaky this way. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Shaky, shaky, shaky. The actual fun part, though, is the drinking of it. So, you're going to pour in. Oh my goodness. Look at that. However strong you want it, you're going to stop there. And then you're going to top it off with a little bit of ginger beer. Yes, ma'am. You can also do kind of anything at this point, right? So if you don't like ginger beer, do a seltzer. If you don't like a seltzer, I don't know, do like sparkling limeade. Do whatever you want. It's your drink. Then we're going to garnish it with this peach. And you can garnish however you want, and this is just for looks, but I'm sure that they can also eat the peach. And then a mint sprig, or I like to chiffonade my mint because that is a little bit more palatable for me. I don't like chewing on a giant mint leaf. Some people do. I just sprinkle that on top. And there's your shocktail. I'm Chef Laura. I'm now enjoying my shocktail, my Georgia peach shocktail. That's it, Georgia peach shocktail. I'm honored to work at the museum. The museum is taking care of us. We are completely shut down right now. But other restaurants, and I have a lot of friends in the industry, if you know of a place around you where you can go and get takeout, get takeout. If you can still afford to get takeout, please do so, because that helps people immensely by supporting any restaurant business right now, if you can. Because I know that a lot of people are hurting right now financially, and eating out is not super easy. But if you can financially, go to your local restaurant, go to any restaurant, and support those people so that when this ends, we can rehire everybody back on and everybody can kind of go back to normal living. So we're going to be doing these videos for a while now, as long as, actually forever, I think, because I'm having so much fun. So if you guys have anything that you're like, how do you make this thing? I bet you I've made it, and if I haven't made it, I will find out how to make it. So leave your comments down there. Is that what happens? I don't know. Leave your comments down there. Be like, hey, how do you make blueberry Pop-Tarts? I'll be like, I'll show you how to make blueberry Pop-Tarts. I've done it. So be safe and have a Georgia peach cocktail.